Hey guys, welcome back to Minecraft. Things may look a little bit different here. My point of view might be a little bit skewed. Well, I've come to the decision that I'm pretty much going to be ending the series. I think it has gone on for quite a while, and I've sort of run out of interesting things to do. I'm still going to keep playing it. It's sort of a wind down, relaxation kind of thing. But I've run out of things that I think are actually interesting to upload on the channel, so I don't see any reason to just continue doing the series when it's sort of lost what made it, to me, exciting in the first place. So I'm just going to be calling it quits. I think I've hit a good point. You know, not all of my projects are finished, obviously, but I've got this really cool world that I built up that I'm going to probably keep working on, but just, you know, on my own time. So with that in mind, I've switched the world type over to whatever mode this is, spectator mode. We're going to take one final world tour, and then I will bid you all a good night, sweet princes. Anyways, we'll start over here. This is where my original spawn was located, and I've already done a world tour before, but that was from the ground, and it was a while ago, so not all this stuff was here. The final world download, by the way, will be going up. It'll be the actual world, you know, locked in survival mode and everything. So this will give you an idea of where everything is, if you would like to download that. Anyways, right over here was where I spent my first night in this world. Yep, in all its horribly ugly glory. Since then, I built a lighthouse with these flashing lamps that I think broke in a previous update because they weren't working last time I tried them. So that's cool. It's also possible that something got disconnected, like I think that has to go off, but I could be wrong. If you want to mess with it, feel free. The switch is right in here. You just flip it, and these should pulsate. Obviously, you take a huge frame rate hit from those. Over here is Sakamoto Cat's base. We've played together in the past. He was just building some random stuff over here. This thing is kind of cool. It's an egg farm. You basically, the chickens lay the eggs. They get dropped down into these hoppers and or droppers. And when you flip the switch to on, it'll load them all into this chest. Oh, their leads must have broken. And then you can move them all into here. And as you can see, he's gotten quite a few eggs already. That's pretty cool. This pyramid thing, I don't think he's finished. It's just, yeah, not done, but it looks kind of neat. And then we'll just head on over this way for now. We'll loop back around. That just leads to something else we're going to check out anyway. As I said before, I tried to make my world one big, like, expanding square, so that you can always get everywhere from everywhere else. This was a neat little thing that happened when I updated to one of the latest snapshots. Only this one chunk got flowers. And in fact, if we go here, you can see it just says forest, same as the others. But if I were to even go down, you can see that there are flowers underground as well. So that's pretty weird. Anyways, I think that I already done this, but I've lit the whole forest using glowstone. It looks pretty cool at night, so that's pretty neat. It doesn't really help with the monsters or anything, it's just for looks. And in fact, if we go down here, this is where my slime farm is located. Slime farms really don't have a point anymore, though, because slimes now spawn in swamp biomes. But these are slime chunks that I dug out, so those work. Back over this way, pixel art. Toho Project Pixel Art will lead you to the main base, which is over here. I've said this before, but the first 4 that I actually... Render, please. The latest snapshots have had real issues with chunks not rendering fast enough. Hopefully that gets worked out. These 4 right here, however, as I was saying, were the first 4 that I did back in 1.7, so before, you know, the adventure update and everything. And since then, I've added on. I did this one in an episode, Did that one a while back, and I think since the previous episode of the series, I've done a couple more, so we'll check those out in a minute. But in the meantime, here is the main base. I spent a great deal of time filling all this in with grass, building this wall, and all in all just making it look nice. And I do think it looks nice, especially now actually being able to see it from above. That's pretty cool. I devoted several episodes to this, quite a few in fact. I did one for the tower, I did one for the bank over here, which houses not only a merchant, one of them, but also all of my gyms. Well, not all of my gyms, but those ones. Other than that, there are blacksmiths around. Some of them broke out somehow, I don't know. But I think this one's still in there. Yeah. We got the priests as merchants over here, and then the storage room over here has the regular villager and all of my loot in it. In fact, if I were to look at my... Yeah, I collected a lot of stuff over all this time that I've been playing. Yep. So that's pretty neat. These lamps will automatically come on at night and turn off during the day. Whoa. That's interesting. Using daylight sensors here and here. Obviously I only need one, but I want it to be uniform, so that's why I put two. I don't know. And then it has the manual override switch on it, so if you want, like say it's during a thunderstorm or something, monsters start spawning, you can just flip that and these will automatically turn on. The way that works is basically there's a block with a piston, and then the wire goes out like this. Pretty simple. And then of course you can exit through the back there where the house is, or you can exit through this redstone gate here and another identical one on the other side. Wiring looks something like that. As we continue on down the minecart rail here, well, let's go down into the cave system actually. So this you might have seen a few episodes ago. I had a bunch of paintings and item frames and stuff on the walls to make this look really neat. All those popped off when I updated, so yeah, I'll have to redecorate that, but whatever. Anyways, off on this side is the nether portal, which also unlit itself. Over here is the potion room, which all these had item frames on them telling you what was inside. I have to redo those. And then on the opposite side, no, on this side is the enchanting room. The reason that the bookshelves are all weird is because this, where is it? This lava actually sparked through the wall and burnt them down, so that's not so good. You can see my strip mine down here. Part of the reason I was able to get so much diamond, but other diamond I've just found. And if you head all the way down to the bottom, which is from here, there's a minecart rail, takes you to the rail station, as it says here. So if we just head up along that, I'll just do this. It goes up to here. Man, gotta love development versions, right? That brings us along this way. And this this cow down here, by the way, has been with the series since episode 1. So that's why I made him his own little town here. Anyways. So as we move on along this rail, you can view the pixel art, which was intentional. You know, I set it up that way on purpose. And if these chunks render fast enough, which they seem to be doing alright, you'll see I've done quite a few Touhou Project characters. Which is funny because, as I've said in the past, I haven't actually played any of the original games. I've just played the fan games that have been based upon the Touhou Project series, so that's a little bit weird. Down here, I did a couple episodes of this. This is the tree farm, which until some of the more recent updates had every single type of tree. It doesn't have the... a couple types now, actually. But every level actually has a charcoal generator, so if you toss the wood into here, it will get brought back into this little contraption and automatically turn itself into charcoal, which then gets put here. So it's basically a coal generator. And then, of course, you can take the coal that you get and take it over to one of the villagers and trade it in for emeralds, which is quite handy. This is village number 2, the Mushroom Village. Also has some weird things happen to it. Pretty much the main thing here, besides just looking kind of neat. And yeah, I did have to go out to mushrooms to get these mushrooms. The cooler thing out here is I've got the mycelium generator down here. And then the best part is the dance hall, which if you flip these switches, it'll pulsate the lamps with a huge FPS hit, obviously. And then, of course, we've got the record players and little machines for making your own beats, which doesn't work very well because there's a slight delay between when you click and when the beat triggers, but whatever. I forgot to mention that the tree farm does have a constant haste enchantment on it, so you can actually harvest all these faster, which is quite nice. And I think this was the one that I had done last, so I've added a couple on since the last episode. This one, this one, this one, and this one. So yeah, they look pretty nice. In addition, I've also added another rail going off this way, which we'll look at in a minute. But otherwise, you can get up to here. From here, this is just a zombie spawner, one of my first ones that I built. You know, it takes them up, they drop down to one hit, and then you throw potions at them and kill them to get the XP. But if we continue along this way, this will lead us to the rail station and actually lead us past village number 3, which is down here. This is a work in progress one, but basically the theme here is mycelium and stone. I think it looks pretty neat. We got a different kind of redstone gate here. Wiring looks something like that, and then like that. And we've got those on both sides. Pretty cool. Here's the dock that I built a while back. I put down a couple little places where you can go down and drop boats. Eventually the plan was to put some boat launchers there, so I may still do that, but whatever. If we actually speed up a little bit and go back here, if we were to go off in this direction, this basically leads to another area that I haven't built up yet, so that's why we're kind of waiting on it. Chunks, render, please. I can show you something neat over here, actually. Oh, hello. They also work from the opposite side. Okay, here we go. So this area right here was actually all chunk error, and I went through and fixed it up. I think I just laid down the sand, yeah. All the way over to this side. I mean, you can pretty much tell over here, not if you just glance at it, but this is all stuff I fixed, as well as all this right here, all the way over into here. This is all just straight up and down chunk errors. Same thing here. You can see the straight line there. I fixed all of this. Even that right there, you can kind of see it. And yeah. So I made all that look nicer because I'm obsessive about that sort of thing. You follow along here, it's going to turn over to the right. And go over here. Up and away. And it leads up here to an area that I have not built yet. But if we were to wait for this to render and look out over this away, this away, this away. Let's go a little bit more. Yeah, that's actually where the dock is, so you can see it from here. And over this way, there's actually a jungle, so eventually there's going to be a treehouse or something there. Also this. Yep, I fixed that as well. And this. Yep, this was all chunk errors that I fixed up as well. I'm particularly happy with this one, because just looking at it, you would never have known that I worked on that until you actually go down underneath and see, oh, that's just straight up and down, isn't it? So I'm happy with that. Didn't take all that long either, surprisingly. Now if we can just render our chunks again. We'll continue on this way, which was the original way we were going. the chunks will render. I'm going to slow down my speed a little bit so that I give them a better chance to render. Over this way, this is the rail station, which is in need of an overhaul. It needs to be taller, I think. But in here there's another redstone gate, which I also devoted an episode to. The wiring is actually a lot more complicated than this one because I had less of an idea of what I was doing. This is the weirdest T flip-flop. Aww. Hero. Aww. Don't be like that. Shut up. So this is where you can pretty much take a rail. Well, I don't know if that's going to work, but you can take a rail off to anywhere. Got the Great Wall, we got the lab, got the Citadel, and the Sheep Factory. We'll head over to the lab first. That was my most recent project. In fact, last episode I was working on that. So if we go down just right over here, and now, man, being in this spectator mode makes it so much easier to get around. We're not going to spend like 2 hours going around this area. Just like way less than that. This was what I worked on last time. Kind of showed you guys how that works. And then I was working on the interior. I'm not sure this nether portal unlit itself as well. I'm not sure how much I like this right now. I think I need to put more light in or something. I don't know. But basically this side goes up to the skeleton spawner. Looks a little something like that. It is a drowning trap. The skeletons get brought in. They go up and around. They come up here. They swim up and they drown. Their drops will automatically fall down here. So if you just stand here and go AFK for a little while, you'll get tons of bones and arrows. I did an episode on that one as well. Down here is nothing yet. Still working on that one. And down here is nothing yet. Still working on that one. I haven't actually made a way to get to it yet, but if you go across here, so it's basically right through here. This is where the door to it used to be. If you follow the torches, you will actually get to my triple spawner XP system. That was an undertaking to build that, let me tell you. I think I passed it. This way. It's fairly self-explanatory. Like I said, you just follow the torches. When you're going slower, it makes more sense. But yeah, this is it. So how this works, and I showed this in a previous episode once again. There is a spawner here, a zombie spawner. There is a spider spawner here, and there is a skeleton spawner here. And so what I did was I worked up this little system where they all get brought around. They get dropped down into here, and then they're basically at one hit, and I can use it as an XP farm. Now if I stand right here, it will actually trigger all 3 spawners, so I can go AFK until a bunch of mobs appear and then come in and kill them all. I don't know if this still works with the recent updates. I haven't really tested it recently. Oh, they also have on-off switches, so I put lamps up here, which cuts down on my spawning space because I messed up my my rooms basically, but it's fine. It works well enough. So that's pretty neat. And if we head back up, this right here. This I haven't really developed yet. That's the jungle. The dock is over there. That one unfinished place is up there. I did something kind of neat over here. Also involved fixing chunk errors. Because this was all really old terrain, the stuff that generated in the distance was all new terrain. They didn't exactly work. So if you stand on the coast here, this one really doesn't look perfect, but I did it just well enough that it would look slightly more natural than just straight up and down, you know, chunk error. If I really wanted to, I would go back and make it look better, but, you know, this works. If you're just standing over here, it doesn't look too bad, you know, from here. Anyways, let's head back down to the rail station. You just follow the river here, actually. Or alternately follow the rails. Okay, this one leads to the Great Wall, so we'll go check that out. That was another big, huge project, actually, that I am working on. I very much like having all this stuff connected by rails because it makes getting around a lot easier, and I especially like the way it looks. So this is the Great Wall. That's a lot of nether quartz, believe me. I think I said in the original episode, but every time I went into the nether, I was coming out with like 16 stacks of nether quartz, which is a lot. There's nothing inside yet. I was working a little bit on it, but for now it's just there to look neat, and I think it does. Eventually, you know, village probably go in here or something. We'll see. Over here, I just fixed some chunk errors. You can see where the grass is a different color. That's because there was desert there. Same thing with all this. This was a chunk error right here. You can see the straight line that goes along here. And that. There's another rail that comes off of there, goes this way. All this was chunk errored out. I fixed that. This rail right here goes to the new village, the Green Hill Zone, as I call it, that I showed off last episode. So again, comes full circle. This is another work-in-progress village. That's going to be a tower. I'm not sure if I like these trees, but it does very much remind you of Sonic the Hedgehog when you look at the grass, doesn't it? Or the clay. Other than that, there's nothing here yet, but yeah, I like it. Off this way, I haven't built anything yet, but if you go down the well here, there is a well over here that you can exit from. And then if you head off this way, you got a little jungle here, and then this is some chunk error stuff that I fixed as well, including this mountain, which I believe I showed already. Yeah, that was all one big chunk error, so I fixed that. And if you go off this direction, there's another village that you'll find that also, if you keep going up the coast, you'll be led to a savanna, and there's actually one of the new underwater dungeons over there. I created a copy of my world and went and looked for one. I haven't actually gone over there in this world, this copy of the world, because I was kind of afraid that maybe something would change about them, and I didn't want to, you know, render it beforehand. But yeah, if you want to go check that out, feel free. It's right next to, there's like a desert next to a savanna. It's just a little bit of ways out in the ocean there. If we take this rail now, this is going to lead us back to the Citadel, which is connected to the rail station. See, the theme here is everything is connected. That's how I like it. This is a little bit of a longer one. And the Citadel was actually my first building where I tried to, or first structure where I tried to wall off an area and just light it. Basically became the prototype for my villages, where I would, you know, wall them off so nothing could get in. And all my nether portals have been killed. Interesting. The coolest thing about the Citadel, however, is not the Citadel itself, it is what is above it. This is my floating island. I did an episode on this as well. It basically inspired by Vex maps, and as you can see at the top, I even have a victory monument and a wool box in honor of Vex and the large amount of fun that I've gotten from playing through his maps. Now, another cool thing about this area, by the way, you have no idea how scary it was to build this without creative mode and actually have to move my way over to place all these without falling down and killing myself. Yeah, I did an episode on that. Feel free to check it out. Now, this is this is what I consider the front. If we just walk straight this way, we will run into a stronghold, which is right here. Found that quite a long time ago. But other than that, if you just keep walking forward, this will actually take you right back to the main base, which is pretty convenient. So we cross the little frozen ocean here. The snowy area is right next to a desert. Makes sense. And you can see it already starting to render. Some of the entities are starting to render. Yeah, right there. So, quite convenient. You basically just walk out and then just go straight ahead. Let's speed up a little bit here. Oh man, Twinks can't keep up with me. There's the stronghold. And there's the citadel. Alright, so this rail right here, which also comes out of the citadel, basically just loops around and goes back to the start where the lighthouse and Sakamoto's base are. It's a little bit of a ways, and I haven't actually built anything over here yet. I actually, I don't know, I like building stuff in a lot of places, but I also like having these big areas of wasteland, especially when they are, just sort of overlooked by the rails. And you just basically end up going over the rails, checking out sort of the natural generation. Anyways, eventually this will take you to the ocean, and then it's not long after that that you will run right back here to the start. I think there's one more thing I haven't shown. I won't bother going into the Nether because I haven't really done anything there, besides collect Nether quartz. If you go in, you'll see that there are a couple small buildings. There's a Nether wart farm, and there is a stronghold right next to where I spawned. And I haven't really done anything with that. I encapsulated the blaze spawners so that I could use them more easily. But that's about it. So not really worth going into there. All my horses. Back here at the main base. So you can either go from the rail station, or you can just walk basically out this gate and then go in a straight line. That'll take you over to the sheep factory, which is actually right about here. Not quite a straight line, but almost. Yep, this is it. I just very much like the idea of having smokestacks outside of a sheep factory. Got another very simple T flip-flop door here. And then I've got 10 sheep of every color. They are not able to eat the grass fast enough that it won't regrow. So they will just basically constantly get their wool back. I can shear them. And then this is basically where I get all the wool for when I do pixel art. As you can see, I'm running a little bit low right now, but it's fine. If we head upstairs, yep, I got every single color here, so all good. And then this one, of course, goes off to the rail station. So that is my world, in a nutshell. It's been a good run. I've very much enjoyed doing the series. It was one of the first series I started, and so we had some rough times at the beginning as far as quality of content. But I think I've learned a lot doing this series, and like I said, I've just enjoyed it a good deal. Hopefully you guys have too, for those of you who have been around for a while or just recently checked out the series. So that's it. We're calling it on the Minecraft series. I think the whole Minecraft Let's Play thing is a little bit done at this point, unless of course you are either a personality-driven channel, which I try not to be too much of, or you just are somebody really good who has really interesting creative ideas, like, let's say Ethos Lab or somebody. He has really creative ideas every episode. So me, on the other hand, I like building structures, and that doesn't tend to be all that exciting episode after episode. So yeah, it seemed like a good place to call it a day. As always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. The new world download, or the final world download, will be up on the update blog, link in the description. and the new map to the world will be up on there as well. So if you want to refer to that map as you make your way around the world, feel free. Other than that, once again, thank you guys and gals, maybe, for sticking around, checking out my stuff, and I'll see you on the next series. Until then.